Hello friends, welcome back to another Draw With Me video. The theme for this week's video is going to be a botanical theme. I posted a poll in the community tab and a botanical theme was the overall winner. So it's going to be very much based around plants and things you might find in your garden. For inspiration, I was flicking through a zine that I purchased, I think it was a couple of years ago now, by a wonderful artist called Minnie Small. I really do have such an admiration for her style. I really love it, especially when it comes to things that are natural or organic or plant-based or anything in that realm. I think she's really good at painting and drawing and sketching those kind of subjects. She's particularly good, I think, at gouache landscapes. So I love seeing her stuff, and I particularly like this scene for sketches. It's called Greenhouse Essentials for Potion Makers and Spellcasters, which is so up my alley. I remember when I was a little kid, I did something very similar. I used to, do lots of little arty random projects. And I remember making a little booklet of, I suppose I was making my own Pokemon in a way. I was creating like monsters and giving them names and animals, and I was making like a magical animal little booklet kind of thing. So it's definitely something that, I really like. I'm definitely on board with this. Another thing I really like about Minnie's work is I think she has very good attention to detail. So any of her products, I think, I've seen her hand make them and whatnot on her YouTube video, and I really do love the little details that she puts into things. I will, of course, be including a link to her channel where you can go and check out some of her work. She does really good studio vlogs and all kinds of things like that. And also, she likes to do sort of hour-long chat with me videos, which are really nice if you're doing a project and you need something for a large period of time to listen to in the background. Like the past two other Draw With Me videos, I have sped up the ending of the drawing at the 15-minute mark. So if you want to see the completed drawing just in a very sped up little time lapse, you can just skip to that point in the video and watch it come to completion there. I do set a 15-minute timer for other people who want to draw along with me or draw something else that they're working on. Feel free, do what you gotta do. But if you're drawing along with me, I think 15 minutes is a really good time period to have a really good foundation. For me, I often find when I get to the end of the 15 minutes that I just get carried away with the details. And one of the things that I definitely did really like about doing the botanical theme was that once I'd got the initial structure down and I feel like the proportions were right and it was clear to the person viewing the drawing what it was, which is obviously quite a fundamental part of doing a successful sketch. Once I got to that point, I feel like with a botanical theme, much in the same way as landscapes that are typically landscapes that are more mountainous or lakes rather than cityscapes, I feel like you can indulge your imagination a bit more and kind of go off script, as it were. You can just put more of your personality into it and put little marks down that aren't necessarily there, or just tweak things that you would change. And it doesn't really matter as much to the overall sketch. It's not like you're doing a person and it's a bit more difficult to tweak those things, because obviously eyes need to be where eyes need to be and noses and mouths, etc. Like there are some subjects that if you were to change too much, it's going to become what it is, and the intention of what you're drawing is going to become blurred. But I feel like with most botanical things, plants and whatnot, you have a lot more freedom to express your own style. If you want to watch the last video of the Draw With Me series, you can just click on the link above. That video was about portraits, and I'd like to do a different subject in every one of these videos because it's about, you know, practicing and being more comfortable with just trying things in your sketchbook. So I really appreciate having the suggestions from you guys, and definitely feel free to leave comments about what you'd like to see in the future. I have included the reference for this video. It was just a photo that I went into the garden and I took a bunch of photos of several of the plants in my garden, which is a great thing to do if you need a reference like this. Then absolutely, if you can, I would go out and I would take the photos myself, for loads of reasons. Obviously, you don't have to contend with copyright or anything like that. So, I mean, for study purposes, that's not a problem anyway. But if you were to wanting to be selling your pictures, then that is something you need to be aware of. But completely for another reason anyway, is that it gives you a chance to mentally calm down, just ground yourself with the earth again. And I mean, I sound so like hippie-ish, but it's true. Like, just go out and experience a bit of inner peace in amongst the trees and the wind and whatnot and the animals. And taking your own photos, just you build up a bit more experience, and I think you have a clearer idea of what you intend to do with that photo because you took it. I am super conscious though of when I'm taking these kind of pictures that I am not a photographer, but the one thing I try and do is create sort of more of an interesting composition and try and get the best values I can. I really want to create some contrasting values. That's particularly important for sketches, because if you're sketching and the lighting is very neutral across the entire subject, then you're gonna make your process a lot more difficult. So I was really trying to capture a lot of shadow and highlights, which I went out in the middle of the day, which isn't really the best time for photos anyway, but it was a very bright sun, so I just went to sections that, yeah, had those dapples of spotlight and whatnot. I think definitely when I was drawing the fig, because that was the first thing that I drew, that I really struggled. I don't have this when I'm doing portraits, but I realized when I was drawing the fig and the leaf, I'd actually started with the leaf. And really, when you look at the picture that I used, the leaf and the fig are more or less the same tone. There is shadow, but the actual large majority of the image is a very similar tone. And the thing that would distinguish the difference is color. Obviously, when you're sketching, you're not really using color. So I really made that a bit tricky for myself. And then obviously you have to use your own imagination, because obviously I wanted the focus to be on the fig, and accidentally I started with the leaf, and I really made the values of the leaf quite dark, which made it very difficult for me to make the fig stand out. It would mean that to make the fig stand out, I would have to draw it in a lighter shade than the back. But ideally, you want the focus of your image to be the darker shade, not the lighter shade. So it was definitely something I played around with, which is why also it's started to become a bit too realistic and a bit too controlled, because I was spending a bit too much time on it. And because I did that, I lost a bit of the loose style, a bit of the imagination. So that's definitely something to keep in mind when you're doing these. Where do you want the focus to be? Where are the strongest values? And don't spend too long hashing out all the little details, because in a sketchbook, it is definitely not worth doing that. I'm not saying don't do realism, but I think in a sketchbook, you should definitely be starting off with a more illustrative foundation. Is that a word? Illustrative? I don't know. Have an illustration as your base foundation, and build up from there if you are interested in realism. I personally, you know, I'm put off by realism because my boyfriend's sister is a photographer, and I see her photography, and her boyfriend is a photographer, and you know, I see all their beautiful photos that they make, and I just think, what can I make better if I was to copy that exactly as it was? For me, it's just not the thing, and you have to have so much patience. It takes so much time, because I think if you're doing hyperrealism, then yes, you can look at it and go, oh my goodness, the skills, the patience, and there's absolutely 100% truth to that. You do need to have a really good understanding of your skills and of fundamentals. But yeah, for me, I'm just like, I would rather indulge my imagination more, and that's just something that interests me more than realism. Another reason that I struggled initially with the sketches, and why I actually did 2 sketches prior to the one I'm doing in this video, is because I have not drawn for several weeks. I went on sort of like a mini holiday, and there were a lot of other projects that I have to get started on, and I needed to wrap my head around and sort out other things, and then I was doing my other job, and ran out of time. So, and in that time also, I passed the 1,000 subscribers mark. That was really weird for me saying subscribers, because I refer to subscribers as subscribblers all the time. So I have 1,000 subscribblers. I honestly was so exciting, and someone left a really sweet comment about it, and I've already got several followers, subscribblers, more than that, which is just so I really am so grateful for that, and I'm so excited for where this channel can go. I definitely want to do a video about the 1,000 subscribblers. I have not done a competition in quite a while, and I'm thinking my next video is gonna be a competition video of some kind. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but we'll get there. In the meanwhile, I have a couple of other videos that I need to get under my belt first. And then I'm off to the UK for like a week. I can't wait. I'm going to see my family. I haven't seen them since Christmas. I was a little bit nervous because of the whole thing with Schiphol, and also across the UK with the airports, and the bad things that keep happening at the airports with, I don't know, luggage and staff and waiting and queues and all that kind of stuff, all that malarkey. So I really hope that my journey goes smoothly. Fingers crossed, everyone, that I get to the UK and everything goes well. So that's going to be great. My other little holiday, we went to Parcs, and I have not been there since I was a teen. I think the last time I went, I was, I want to say 16, 17, maybe a bit younger. I'm not sure. And I have such fond memories of Parcs, so I was a little bit apprehensive that I'd go and be like, oh, this is what it's actually like. But it was great. I really enjoyed it. I especially loved the first day we did mini golf. Here are my highlights. First, we did mini golf, and I got a hole in one. Yes. I'm not competitive at all. I totally am. And then the next day we did archery. I am not kidding you when I say it was very, very dramatic. I was living for the dramatic tension. The guy running the archery session was so good. He set, I haven't had this before, but he basically set little challenges like you had to shoot your arrow into the color of a certain flag. So we had the German flag and the Dutch flag and all this kind of stuff. And then he wouldn't tell you what the colors of the flag from that country were. So what country was it? It wasn't Brazil. I can't remember what country it was, but the colors were yellow, red, and blue. But everyone was there going, wait, what are the colors for that country? Geography just failed me there. I was like, I had to rely on the guy next to me, like, it's definitely these colors, right? But I loved that because it actually meant that when you were shooting your arrows, you weren't necessarily fluking. You had to actually have some ability. And then at the end, you had an opportunity to make a bet, place a bet. And so, for example, all your points were totted up and you could say you got one arrow. So you had one opportunity to mess this up or get it right. And it was things like, I'm going to bet 50 points that I hit the red. And if you missed the red, then you lost 50 points. And at this point, I had the most points and I was feeling a little bit cocky. I have no regrets. I said that I was going to place a bet on all of my points to hit the yellow target, which is obviously the bullseye. And then we all took it in turns while everyone watched. I was very nervous, but I'm pleased to say, everyone, I absolutely nailed it. God, I was so pleased. That will never happen again. Yes, I was a little bit smug, but I really enjoy archery and I do not get enough time to play and practice as much as I do. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I really hope that your sketches are starting to come together and we're all starting to see some improvements. I'd love to see more of what you guys are doing if you're joining along. Thank you so much for all of your love and support recently with passing my 1,000 subscribers mark. I honestly really appreciate it. And if you like this video, please like and leave a comment and subscribe if you're feeling particularly generous. Thank you so much, everyone. My next video is going to be a competition dedication to the 1,000 subscribers mark. So I hope to see you then. Bye, everyone.